story with Planned Parenthood.
Oh, man.
Tell us what's going on there.
Okay, so, and Rob, I sent you this. So Planned Parenthood was selling viable, healthy, aborted babies who could have survived outside the womb to the University of California for experience. So, and Rob has this story, Rob. I think I slacked it to you. And in their contract, it states that they own the intellectual property rights and the patent rights developed and experiments done by the body parts. Okay, so Planned Parenthood and the University of California, San Diego, reportedly negotiated fetal tissue donations for research. Emails and a 2018 research plan revealed that they wanted up to 2,500 fetuses ranging from 4 to 23 weeks gestational age, which is almost 6 months, by the way. Now, donating fetal tissue is legal, but selling them isn't. So why is there a contract that gives Planned Parenthood the property rights over the tissue? I think that's kind of weird. And then Planned Parenthood claims that this is all done under the highest ethical standards. But how is it ethical to negotiate the fate of an unborn child if it's a commodity? It's all transactional, Tom. So, and then add to that the allegations of racial disparities. The Spanish consent, look how racist this is. The Spanish consent forms failed to disclose the same commercial value details as the English one. So basically, if you spoke English, you got the full story. They're going to make money. They're going to, if they get the patents, they make money. But including the fact that the tissue could have commercial value. But if you spoke Spanish, they left that part out, which is freaking racist. And they say, oh, it's not profit. But then why does it's in the stipulation in the contract? Valuable consideration is in the contract. So if you're receiving taxpayer dollars and operating, this is a gray zone, and I think we need answers. So Senator Mark Rubio.
What is going on? Hey, that was a mouthful. I am Dave, 10-year intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything from trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, as well as what Vinny on PBD just talked about, patents. Now, typically, and I'm still trying to be upbeat with this one, but I have a lot to say for a number of reasons. I was kind of watching PBD, shout out to PBD, the other day, and this story came out where Vinny was talking about Planned Parenthood, and I did a little bit of research, which I'm going to kind of share you guys my thoughts on this thing and how this is interesting from a number of reasons, but it appears from Vinny, what Vinny was talking about, that Planned Parenthood. Again, we all know this abortion topic has been kind of a big topic of discussion as far as human rights and things like that. But again, when you start talking about patents and intellectual property, it which we get off back into the video and Tom talk about it a little bit. You kind of develop these kind of black markets or these dark markets regarding what's going on when you start, dealing with intellectual property and patents, because there's money tied to it. When you think about IP, and this is the whole point of my channel, Everything Intellectual Property, money is a big part of IP and ownership of the IP. So as Vinny talked about, Planned Parenthood in exchange, or they were essentially in negotiation or have a contract with University of San Diego, which is pretty much saying, hey, we're going to give you guys these aborted babies, for the lack of a better word, and in exchange, any commercial value that you derive from your testing of tissues and things like that, we're going to own the right set of patents or any other IP that comes out of it, which is crazy for a lot of different reasons. Number one, because do you think, and again, this is what I'm talking about in terms of it being a human rights issue, or at least people wanting to think that this whole kind of abortion topic is a human rights issue, because do you think that as you're going to get an abortion, from a woman's perspective, you're thinking about, okay, the tissue or something that's based on my aborted baby is probably going to maybe make a ton of money one day? Do you think is that something that they're going to think about? I don't know the answers. I'm just kind of giving you guys as an audience something to think about, and I would love to hear your comments as we go off into this video. Your comments in the comment section about this thing. But do you think that as a mother who's kind of looking to get an abortion, even though it's maybe on a form that, hey, your tissue or blood or whatever the case may be from your baby may be used or may kind of derive economic value or substantial or significant economic value, do you think they're kind of taking that and understanding what that means? I don't know. It seems like a little sketchy to me. And actually, when I was in law school, and we're going to take a look at a lot of stuff. We're going to finish the video. We're going to take a look at the Planned Parenthood, some of these terms that Vinny is talking about. And we're going to take a look at this case, Henrietta Lacks, where back in law school, again, taking an intellectual property course, I took one course where this lady by the name of Henrietta Lacks from back in the 50s, she kind of came in, she had cancer, or she had a tumor. They kind of cut the tumor out, sent it away, ultimately found out that she had cancer. But as opposed to just kind of, I'm not sure what they do with these tumors after they kind of test it or whatever the case may be. But as opposed to disposing it, which I'm assuming that they do, they kind of realize something special about her cells, and they start kind of sending them out to all over the world, essentially, to these different research labs and stuff like that. And based off the uniqueness of her cells, they made a ton of money, all while not letting Henrietta Lacks know. So, and again, this actually just got settled last year, where the family of Henrietta Lacks got a ton of money. It seems like as they sued the research lab for doing all this without her consent. So this is a story that I came across in law school. We're going to quickly take a look at that article as well, kind of give a little bit more details of the Henrietta Lacks case. But this seems to be an equivalent case where, again, they are maybe kind of giving you consent, so to speak, and I use that word consent loosely, but just think that if you're aborting your kid and that is used for some testing, some research purposes, which you probably don't even understand or appreciate, and some economic value is derived from that, not only do you not own the patent, but the University of San Diego, Planned Parenthood owns the patent, which is crazy to think that. And again, just for give you an abortion that costs a couple $100s or whatever abortions cost these days, that's, I don't know, man, that's crazy to me. It seems a little sketchy. But let me know your thoughts as we get back to the video. Man, this was a crazy one, I thought. This was a crazy one, and I thought it was interesting to kind of bring to you guys. And again, hopefully you guys leave your comments, because I'm interested to see what you guys think. Let's get back to the video. Let's go.
Recently called for a federal investigation into the Parenthood based on these findings. So I think it's like unbelievable that this is in conjunction, Planned Parenthood with the UC San Diego, that they were in contract saying, by the way, these babies can survive outside the womb. And I don't know if it was Tico who told me about this thing where they put these this thing that's coming. You've heard about this before. So what do you think? Because this is all factual. This is factual. They were selling babies for contract, and they're basically saying if we take this feed, the patent contract they had, it's all factual. At least this is 2 months ago, I think, Marco Rubio.
We know two things. Number one is that you can donate your body to science when you pass away. And if you pass away without cancer or poisoning or things like that, your organs can be harvested. You can elect, like right on your driver's license, you can say, I'm an organ donor. And your corneas, your kidneys and things can go to, even your heart can go to somebody that needs it. So medical research and donating organs has been gone on for a long time. And sometimes it's an amazing thing. And you see these stories of people that hear a recording of their loved ones die. So all of that's been going on. And now it extends to using the tissue from aborted babies for research as well. The second thing is we need to understand is that abortion is not just a political topic. It's an industry. It's billions of dollars of profit and billions of dollars of federal dollars that are given to Planned Parenthood that conducts the abortions, and then they take the tissue and they profit and use it for research purposes. And so you've gone from the noble act of when you got your driver's license to saying, I'm willing to be an organ donor. Remember that? You just put like a dot or something. Yeah. And so that's noble of you to do it, to try to help somebody after. You take all of that and medical research. Would you like to donate your body to science so we can do research on the walls of your heart and things like that to see how things gone? Or, when you're Alzheimer patient passes away, says, can we, or a professional football player, they want to do research on Alzheimer's, dementia, and this profit machine. And I'm just speaking logically of it, because I'll get emotional the other ways. We have to remember, abortion has become an industry. It's not just a moral issue. It's become an industry. And to bring the morality back, you're having to fight an industry and Planned Parenthood and getting money from the government, and look at the addresses and look where they put their clinics and how they over-index and have created a genocide against African Americans. And it is a genocide. Never been more than 17% of the population. They're usually 40% of the abortions. Wow. How did that happen?
Weird.
And so this is just more what you're pointing out of the disgusting industry that if America knew the truth, and if America, Rob, I think the name of the movie was Silent Scream.
And that's enough of that one. And I think this is interesting, as Tom pointed out, particularly for African Americans, because 40%, which I didn't realize that number, 40% of all abortions are from African American women. And again, this points out, and this is a great time to get off into the Henrietta Lacks case, which I'm gonna pull up this article. And this article is from last year, and she was African American, by the way. So I do want to let you guys know that. But we're going to get off into this article, and it's a very short article, but I thought this was interesting because as they were talking about it, it reminded me of the Henrietta Lacks case. So Henrietta Lacks, family of a Black woman whose cells were taken, settled case. So they just settled this case. Like I said, I was in law school back in 2015, and this case just was settled back or just last year, August of 2023. So the family of a Black woman whose cervical cells were harvested in 1951 without her knowledge and replicated infinitely ever since have reached a settlement with the biotech company. Henrietta Lacks cells enabled huge advances in medical science, and the cell line is still being used in research institutes worldwide, but they were taken without consent. Ms. Lacks' family never received any compensation and have fought for years to get justice for the stolen cells. The details of the settlement reached on Monday with Massachusetts seem like they weren't made public in terms of the settlement. So Ms. Lacks, so this tells about her story a little bit. 31-year-old mother from Baltimore began experiencing pain in her abdomen and abnormal bleeding in 1951. She was examined by a gynecologist at Johns Hopkins who discovered a large mass on her cervix. Without informing her or asking for permission, doctors sent a sample of her tumor to a lab for medical research before treating her for aggressive cervical cancer. But while nearly all cells cultures died quickly in the lab, cells taken from Ms. Lacks continued to multiply and didn't age, making them immortal. The cell line called HeLa, after Ms. Lacks' first and last name, was sent to research labs around the world. According to the World Health Organization, HeLa cells have led to the creation of polio vaccine and advancements in HIV, cancer, and fertility research. But the same properties that made the cells a scientific miracle also made them lethal. Months later, after her diagnosis, she died from cancer. So it seems like, unfortunately, Ms. Lacks ultimately died months later from her cancer. It was not until decades later that the Lacks family discovered what had become of her cells. Then Ben Crump, the civil rights attorney, got involved and so forth and so on. But again, this is why this stuff is so important from my standpoint, not only as an intellectual property attorney, but also as an African American, because number one, as we just read about the Henrietta Lacks case, her cells end up, went on to making a lot of people a lot of money, I would imagine. And without her consent, and now all of a sudden, years later, once the family realized it, now, fortunately they did, it seems like, get justice as relates to a settlement. And I would imagine typically when a settlement is not made public, I mean, it was a lot of money exchanged. And I think Ben Crump even said in an article that both sides or the family is really happy. So again, kudos to them for that. But when you're talking about, again, 40% of women, African-American women, or all abortions are from African-American women, and these abortions, these aborted babies are kind of being shipped to labs so that their tissue and blood and things like that are kind of used for medical sciences. And again, it's almost a moral thing to put that in the contract when somebody's, I would imagine, going through a tough time to say, hey, you're giving us consent to use this. And maybe economic or money is derived from your fetus, and you don't get nothing outside of, I'm not sure, like I said, what an aborted baby costs these days, or an abortion costs these days, what, a couple $100s. So in exchange for us giving you $400 to help you with your aborted baby, this baby can maybe make a lot of us a lot of money, which I'm sure they are, and you're not getting anything of that. It just seemed a little sketchy for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But the last thing I do want to bring up is the actual agreement. Because again, they're talking about Planned Parenthood they're shipping these aborted babies to the University of San Diego, and in exchange for the University of San Diego getting these free test subjects, if you will, the University of Planned Parenthood gets to listen at this. They own all IP patents, anything that's derived that's economic of value or significant commercial value. University of San Diego, they own the patent and all intellectual property. So we're going to take a look at that article, and then we are going to close out for today. But I would love to hear what you guys think. as we're doing this, let's go here. So this is the Planned Parenthood. This is from New York Post, and this was a couple days ago, 21st. It was the 27th, so a week ago. Planned Parenthood stomach churning emails negotiated for fetus donation exposed. So it seems like they were trying to keep this thing separate or keep this thing secret. Let me see if I can. There we go. So this is never before seen documents between Planned Parenthood and San Diego and the University of San Diego indicate that the viable and non-anomalous fetuses up to 23 weeks from elective abortions are being supplied to university researchers in exchange for remuneration from any patents or intellectual property that results from the experiments made on them. That's crazy. I think it was another one that actually had an excerpt of the actual agreement. Here we go here. The contract made for valuable consideration grants essentially the University of San Diego access to fetal and placental tissue, which are proprietary materials of Planned Parenthood. San Diego, the parties agreed that in granting access to the proprietary aborted fetal body parts, Planned Parenthood shall retain all right, title, and interest in and to material, including but not limited to all rights, title, and interest in patents and patent applications and other intellectual property rights relating to the material. There you have it, folks. There you have it. Planned Parenthood, in exchange for shipping your aborted baby fetus off to the University of San Diego to get money or for research purposes, to the extent that they kind of come up with something as they did in Henrietta Lack's case. I guess this part of your consent form, or they kind of disclose the valuable consideration in your consent form, at least in the U.S. forms. It seems like for the Mexican cases, they're not even talking about the significant value commercial or the fact that your aborted baby may be able to may earn somebody a lot of money, essentially. But again, heck, 40% of all abortions are from the African-American community anyway. So do they even need to kind of supply the information to the Hispanic community? But at least for the African-American community, again, to the extent that your baby is used in research purposes at the University of San Diego and comes up with some type of advancement on HIV or whatever the case may be, and somebody gets paid a lot of money as a result of it, because I can guarantee you somebody's going to get paid a lot of money. You don't own the rights to that patent or other intellectual property, and Planned Parenthood is the rightful title or IP holder, patent holder, at least according to the documents that we looked at. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we talk about the whole human rights and making a decision. And again, is this really what we all thought about as it relates to kind of the My Body, My Choice movement and kind of women being able to make that own decision when, again, they're not even, and I'm pretty sure they don't understand or appreciate this. I do as an intellectual property attorney. Hopefully you guys appreciate this from reading that Henrietta Lack's case. Hey, somebody's going to get paid a lot of money. When you start talking about IP, it's almost like follow the money. It's almost like follow the IP. If somebody's granted rights to the IP, that means that it's some money involved. And we just saw that here with Planned Parenthood in San Diego, as well as University of San Diego. I'm just providing you guys information. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section what you guys think about this. It seems like it's a little sketchy at best about this, especially for the African-American community, which I'm a part of, and African-American women that makes up 40% of abortions, at least through Planned Parenthood. Again, I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this. If you like this type of content, please hit a like of the video. And to the extent that, again, this is one of those current events things that we talked about. So if you want kind of more stories like this, you're not part of the IP community, please hit the subscribe button to get these current events. We do some other stuff on the channel as well, but these are kind of one of the current events that we talk about dealing with intellectual property, which again is valuable stuff as we just illustrated and underscored by the article. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.